you go when you go to interview someone, are you going there? I believe that you go there with a tool. All right, you go there with a tool, which means that you go there with at least a question. I think that you will go there with a tool in order to ask your respondents. But are you going only with a tool, and do you have anything else? Um, what are you going to do after you get the data from your respondent or from your research participant? Okay, I will suggest this. I will suggest the interview summary, or if you use the focus group summary, if you use the focus group discussion, and I also would like you to consider using this form in order to help you with your with your data collection. All right. So in addition to the tool that you prepare to ask your research participants, you probably have you probably considered using this interview summary form. Number one, the first question is, where did the interview take place? Was the venue suitable? Does anything needs to be changed for future interviews? We need to understand that the first time that you conduct an interview with a particular person, you probably it did, it may not go well, or it may not go smoothly, well, because it is the first time and then you don't have much experience. So then this form is the form that you can use for reflection. Okay, so we need to make a reflection after you have conducted an interview. So the reflection here, these following questions are the questions that you can use in order to reflect what you have, what you got from the interview, and what you learned from the interview. Okay, it is about a place here, which means where it took place, where the interview took place. Well, sometime when you interview a person in an office, for example, you may find out that, okay, if I interview a person in office and there are many other people coming in and out, and it disturbed my research participant, and at the same time my research participant did not feel free to express their ideas, to express their opinions about what's going on. So I think it might, if I want to interview the second person, I'm going to change the place, to the venue, for example. This is something that you need to consider. For example, if, for example, nowadays, because it is I mean, this is the time of the situation of the COVID-19, and you probably want to conduct an online interview, or you probably want to conduct a phone call, a phone interview by calling a person. But the thing is that if or you may have an online interview with a particular person, or sometime you may think that, okay, if I use this platform in order to interview, it is not really good, so I need to find another platform, another ways in order to have an online interview with my research participants. So we need to think about that. So whether it is really so instead of where it is also you can also consider the platform, or the methods, the means of interviewing someone online. So and then you need to make a reflection on whether you need to make any changes for the future interview. All right, the future interview could be the interview with the with the same person, or the interview with the new people, the new research participant. The next one is, how easy was it to establish rapport, and were there any problems, and how can this be improved for next time? So this rapport is very important, especially for those who conduct a qualitative interview, qualitative research. You need, in order to get a rich data out of the interview, or the interview, then it is important for you to establish rapport, or to build good relationship with your research participant. You can just imagine, if you don't know if the person does not know you much, if you don't have a good relationship with the person may not share lots of information with you. Okay, so in order to get much information from the person that you selected as a sample for your study, it would be a good idea to start establishing rapport with the person. So you may start to communicate with the person even before you started an interview with the person. Okay, so were there any problems? How was it easy? If it's not easy, so what are you going to do? So this think we need to use this question just to make reflection on, okay, what we have done and what we are going to do in order to for the improvement in the future interviews. So how can this be improved for the next time? If there were any problems during interview, what could be done in order to improve it next time? Next, okay, the next one you need to think about, okay, the interview schedule. Your interview schedule will refer to the list of questions that you prepare in order to ask your respondents. So did the interview schedule work well? Does it needs to be altered or need to be changed? Remember that the in I mean the tool that you prepare for the interview, when you interview for the first person, okay, so when you want to interview the next person or the other people, okay, other people, the third or the fourth people, the interview schedule or the question may be maybe adjusted to a certain extent. It doesn't mean that we need to follow everything. Sometime in the first in the in the first interview, you probably in the interview schedule, you probably miss some important information, some important questions. And when you use the tool, you realize that in the first interview, you realize that you miss quite numbers of important questions. And then you can add that those important questions to the tool in order to so this is how you can actually improve it along the way in order to collect the data from the selected participants.